time. Welcome to today. Let's set up our machine really quick. So first thing, I have my mermaid strap pulled away from the spring box. Adjust it maybe to the length of your leg proactively, like mine is generally a little bit closer to the springs than halfway. I have black cables pulled down for some upper body work a little bit later, and then red pole handy for some balancing. We're going to be using it for elevator lunge today. With that, your modifications, we are going to be starting at the back today with some core work. So if you're like, no, not today, you would just literally start at the front, and that's basic. I mean, you'll be doing the same exact exercises. So anything in the back can be done at the front. When you're at the front, one yellow spring is going to be a little bit harder than two. Favorite way to modify it is definitely range of motion, making the movement smaller so you can keep your control. Anytime we're in a plank, you can always be on your knees. If the knee, in whatever exercise we're in, if it's not going to make it quite the same exercise, I'll try to give you different variations that you could be on your knees and kind of accomplish the same thing. Got Jessica here demoing. We're going to get started today. If you are coming to the back, make sure you're on one yellow spring. If you're going to the front, 1 to 2 yellows, 2 will be more support. We're going to start it out with giant reverse wheel row. So one yellow spring, pull your carriage on up to the back. Bring your hands onto your back platform, your knees against the strap, or they could be further back or further forward. I just don't like it when my knees are down in the little holes. I like the top of my feet and my shins to be pushing down. You'll see Jessica set up this nice modified plank position, straight line from the crown to the shoulder, the hips to the knees. The movement is from the shoulders. You're going to begin to hinge backwards from the shoulders, keeping your spine straight and strong. Doesn't need to be a giant range of motion. That's perfect tempo, Jess. So you're going back as far as you can, keeping your shoulders depressed, keeping your spine nice and long. Add a little pause at the back. And then as you exhale, you're slowly pulling forward. The hardest part for me is as your abs start to burn. We tend to want to lean forward into the arms in front of the wrists as we come forward. Really try to resist that. You're already well over halfway. This is our opening little block here. We're not going to do any holds or any challenges in this position. You're just trying to layer them on, layer onto those abs. Shoulders are still depressed, triceps are wrapping back. You're starting to warm up those bigger back muscles, so your heart rate's starting to warm up. Suck the belly up to the spine. This is your last 8 seconds. I'm going to have you transition down onto your elbows, your forearms in 4. So same position. In 3, 2, and 1. So forearms are now down. You're still, notice how Jessica didn't bring her knees in. Now you could bring the knees into transition, but she's right out into the same shape in the spine. So her abs are still burning. Do the work to depress your shoulders, lengthen your neck, squeeze your butt, zip up through the core. And then let's do the same movement. Let's begin to hinge backwards slowly from the shoulders. Nothing fancy here. There's no holds, no challenges again. So we're just warming up our long spine, activating the side core muscles, pulling into the midline, activating the front core muscles. The kind of transverse abdominis is like a corset, wraps around your lower spine. Rectus abdominis, what you know of as your abs, right? The six-pack muscles working hard, pulling in together. And then also your back muscles working really hard. Right about now, you got about 20 seconds, so it should be starting to burn. Maybe you have to hold a little longer at the front before you slide it out, or maybe you're like, no, today is the day, and I'm gonna start to push it out further. Big inhales, good. Big exhales. In 4 seconds, we're gonna hold it still. In 3, 2, stack your shoulders over your elbows. Hold it here. Feel the core burning. Feel the sides of your waist working. And then now really slow as you exhale, start to come into your crunch. So lifting, rounding, stopping the knees right up behind the hips. And then resisting it, squeezing your buns as your back of the head is lifting. You're resisting the tension on the springs as the carriage slides back. Now if you're at the front, you could totally do this at the front as well. It's just gonna be a little bit softer, maybe a little bit easier to maintain and not take like breaks when it starts to burn. Slow it down a little bit more. Let that be your challenge now. Slower than you did last time, much slower than you did the time before that. Awesome. Neck is moving with the rest of your spine. Now on your next one, start to let your knees slide out about halfway. So knees are behind your hips, exactly. Kind of looking at your wrists, so your neck is carrying that rounded position as well. And then really slow, a little squeeze up and in. Yes, see Jessica's spine lift up higher. And then resist it out about an inch. Exhale, lift up 1 inch, round, tuck into those abs, and then resist it out 1 inch. Keep it going. Exhale, lift up 1 inch, squeeze it in. Inhale, resist it out 1 inch. Just a few more seconds here. This should be fire right now. Digging in, breathing through for 5, 4, awesome, Jess. Open up that breathing, you guys. 3, 2, take it slow, take it back to full range. This is your last 15 seconds here. We're gonna come into a high plank position. So your hands are gonna come up, your toes are gonna tuck in a full plank. This is definitely harder here at the back, so if you need to take it to the front, we'll meet you there in just a minute. In 3, 2, 1. So hands are up, your toes are tucked, and you're in your high plank. So hands about shoulder distance, maybe a little bit wider. You'll see Jessica's already set up this tabletop position in the spine, so the hips are at the height of the shoulders, the heels are reaching back. Soften your elbows, keep your spine long, and as slowly as you can, start to pike your hips up towards the sky. Beautiful. Doesn't matter how high you go, you want to go really, really, really slow on the way back out to your plank. I like to hold it there a second or 2 or 3 and making sure my neck is as long as it can be. Your heart is reaching forward. That's kind of the difficult part. You're changing so much position in the shoulders. You're 15 seconds out now. You've pretty much made it. We're gonna take a ride to the front from here. We'll be facing the opposite direction. Your elbows will be on your front platform. Your knees are gonna be on the number 3. So if you're already at the front, you've been in this position before. Last 3, taking a ride to the front, setting that modified plank in 2 and 1. So all the way at the front now, remember, if you're coming from the back, 2 yellows would make it easier. Elbows on the front platform, knees are down. Lift through the back of your head. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. Now, this isn't the craziest thing you've ever done. This is fairly modified, getting you off your wrists for a second. Letting you feel the core work though. Feel gravity try to pull down on that abdominal wall. Now, as slow as you can go, let's bring in that saw again. So hinging back from the shoulder, keep the back of the neck long, the head stays lifted as you slide back. Good. Super slow. As you slide back, I want you to hold a second and really squeeze down through the lats, through the armpits. Imagine you're in a lat pull. Looks awesome, Jessica. Everybody, this is coming to the end of our opening core block. We're gonna get right into those legs today. So again, pushing it, breathe a little deeper. You're safe here. On your knees and on your elbows at the front of the machine. Push yourself. Get it to shake a little bit. You're almost there, 10 seconds. We've got one last little challenge coming up. Good range, Jess. Keep those shoulders down out of your ears. Think about keeping this neck so long. There's so much space between your ears and your shoulders. 4 seconds, high plank. In 3, 2, 1. Hands come back up, your toes are tucked, you're in that high plank position. Again, if you've been at the front since the start, you've been here before. Push down energetically into your hands. Soften your elbows. Squeeze your butt, activate your inner thighs. The squeeze of the inner thighs in a plank is something I have to adjust every 3 seconds. Again, plank to pike, go slow. Hips lift to the sky, your neck stays so long. Don't just go through the motions here. Feel what's happening in your core. Keep your spine neutral, drawing and lifting up through the belly button. Awesome lift, Jess. Again, this is it right here. You're gonna be stepping off to the right side of your machine. We're gonna be coming into your floor lunge on the right leg. So it's a light spring load, 1 yellow, 2 will be more support. No holds, no challenges right now. This is your last 15 seconds. Breathe through it. Again, maybe you don't get up as high. 10, stepping off to the right. Left toes will tuck on the number 8. In 4, perfect. 3, Fast transitions, right into it. 2 and 1. Awesome. So right foot finds the number 2, left toes tucked near the 8. You'll see Jessica extends her left leg back almost immediately. And then you're either gonna soften your left knee or lean a little bit forward, or maybe a combination of both. With your weight in your right heel, begin to bend down into your right knee. Knee stays right over the ankle. Shift back into that heel just a little bit. Beautiful. Engage your inner thighs and then push into your heel to start to rise. The most important part of this lunge, you guys, is not straightening your knee completely at the top. I'm not saying you can never straighten your knee, that you can't take a break and shake it out. I'm saying you want to be doing at least 3 or 4 or more in a row, keeping the tension, endurance in the hamstring muscle fibers. Breathing. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Front ribs are pulling in, especially when your shoulders melt down. Every time you come to the bottom, try to get a little bit lower. And for me to get lower, I definitely have to lean a little bit more forward. Otherwise, I'm feeling it more in my back and in my hips. Awesome, Jess. Good, let's start to come all the way down to the bottom on your next one. And we'll just hold it down there. Breathe in. If you want more of a challenge, try reaching your arms either out to the side or maybe reaching them forward out in front of you. Lifting your hands up higher is definitely going to be harder. Push into your right heel, sink in a little bit lower. Good. And then 1 inch down, feel that hamstring just radiate fire. Push into the heel before you come 1 inch up. Good. Come 1 inch back down, maybe sink in a little bit lower for 3. Good. Abs so tight, 2. We come back to full range of motion. Try not to lock it at the top. I understand if you need to. Take it right back down into that next one. Check in with your inner thighs for me at this point, especially after coming out of that hold. Hips are level square. You can see Jessica's hips pointed straight ahead like 2 headlights on a car. That's super important for protecting your back, but also functionally working into that right leg. Let's come all the way down again. Hold it down. Same variation, second time is going to be spicier. You can totally use the bar in front of you, holding it down. Maybe your arms reach forward, maybe they reach out to the side, pull it down a little bit lower. Awesome, 1 inch down, and then 1 inch up. Perfect control. 1 inch down, she's making the balance look real easy. 1 more inch down, sink low, hold it low for 3. Big, deep, full breaths here. 2, and then really slow, start to rise up. Once you hit the top, we're coming right back down. Looks awesome. Big old inhales, big old exhales. You've got 15 seconds right here. Taking it. We're gonna be taking it up for runner's lunge from here. So about 1 red, 2 yellows, 3 is heavier. 1 red, 1 yellow would be lighter. Still the right leg, stepping up in 3. Spring change first in 2 and 1. So about 1 red, 1 to 2 to 3 yellows. Right foot forward underneath the platform strap. Left toes back against the strap. I forgot you don't have your strap at the front. Should we go a little bit lighter? Or is it okay?
This is okay.
Okay, you let me know if you feel like you're sliding.
Okay.
Just all you guys have a platform strap, but her machine's a little backwards right now. If you ever didn't have the strap, you would probably want to err on the side of lighter, because I don't want you to feel it in your ankle, like you're trying to hold on for dear life with your toes. That's not at all what we want on this one. Nice and slow. So this is an isometric hold on the right leg. You'll see Jess has her knee right over the ankle. She's pushing down into her right heel, and then the left leg is driving back. So this is like a distraction back here. You're pushing through the left glute as you keep your right knee heavily bent. Big inhales and big exhales. Make it powerful as you push that left leg back. So pulling in every time I bring that left knee in. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and bring it in. Hold your left knee right underneath your hip. Push your right heel heavily down, like really push that heel down so you feel that right butt cheek just turn on. Squeeze your left butt cheek and then come down just another inch, just holding into it. Breathing feels so good, hold it. And then see if you can come down another inch, and not fast. You're trying to really feel what's going on here. You can always lean a little bit more forward if that feels more connected to the core. You don't have to. Take a big old inhale and then push your left leg all the way back out. Keep that right heel pushing. Slowly the left leg comes in. Awesome, yes, just like this, about 15 seconds in this movement. Make sure the tailbone stays heavy. Every time you bring that left knee forward, you wanna re-engage your core. You wanna hug the ribs to your back so you make it feel more powerful as you drive through the left leg. Next one, push your left leg almost all the way back. We're not gonna lock the knee, but you are gonna keep it in your left booty. So your left booty is squeezing, your right heel is pushing, your tailbone is anchoring down. So there's a lot of core stuff happening here. Now squeeze your left butt cheek and push your left leg back 1 inch. And then still pushing in your right heel, bring your left knee in 1 inch. Good, and then push it out back 1 inch. Try to sit a little lower in your right leg and come back to full range. In and out with your left leg, your last push here. You're breathing in and you're breathing out, totally. About 15 seconds to go. We're gonna be pivoting to your left. So your feet will stay where they are relative to the carriage and the platform, but your feet are gonna face left with you. We're gonna set up a wider, not wide squat, but your outer thigh squat. So your toes will be either straight ahead or slightly externally rotated. In 2 and 1. So bring it in, turn to your left, and then set your feet up. Make sure they're lined up with each other. I like my toes turned out slightly, and you'll see Jessica's not pushing it out super wide, but she probably feels the tension on her outer thighs. Begin to bend your knees. Come down nice and low. Good. Just a regular squat, slow as you can go. Same thing here if she wasn't feeling evenly distributed because of the strap situation, I would probably go a little lighter. Nice and slow, coming down nice and deep. You can straighten your legs when you're squatting. Just make sure if you're taking the straight leg and you're squeezing your butt at the top, just make sure you're not arching your back. You gotta keep those abs pulling in tight. Now the only thing I'm gonna have her change, she's gonna start to go a little faster now. And I'm not saying fast. I still want it to be strong and powerful, just a little bit faster, right? Just getting the heart pumping, the blood moving a little bit more. Big, powerful muscles. When we're working our legs, it makes things more cardiovascular. Just a few more seconds like this. Good, let's come all the way down. Hold it nice and low. Set back into your heels. Try to get a little lower. As slowly as you can. Start to push your left leg out to the left. Yeah, try not to lock the knee. Make sure your left knee is still rotated outwards with your toes. You feel that outer cheek turn on. Right heel is heavy. And then resist as the left leg comes back in. Perfect control, Jessica. Everybody sit a little bit lower, dig in, but unlock your jaw. And then again, push that left leg out real slow. Awesome. Breathing in, breathing it right back out. You totally got this. We're not here super long, keeping you the minimum amount of time today, especially since we just came from that isometric hold on your right leg in your runner's lunge. Opening the hips a little bit more. Feel your inner thighs stretching as your outer thighs strengthen. Sit in it a little bit lower again. Awesome. Let's start to really grit this out. You've only got a few more seconds here. Next one, I want you to start to bring your left leg in back to your squat position. Try not to stand up. Instead, try to get lower. Exactly. So freaking strong, Jessica. 1 inch down. It's burning right now. It's hard to tap those glutes. 1 inch up. 1 inch down. You're right there. 1 inch up. Is that Scout? Oh, so cute. Her puppy is barking. You probably can't hear it. All the way down. Here we go. And then let's come back into those squats. The slightly faster variation. I'm not saying fast. I'm just saying big butt squeeze, big drives from the bottom up. Use your breath here. You only have 15 seconds. You only have one more right leg exercise because I'm kind today. Feeling very kind. Keep going. 10 seconds. All the way down, all the way up. So for those of you that don't have me standing next to your machine, you're gonna need to change down to 1 yellow. 2 is more support. You pivot to the front. It's elevator lunge in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So facing towards the front, your right foot is forward, your left toe is about the first red line. One yellow spring, two will be more support. We're gonna start to immediately bend down into the right knee right over the ankle, toes are pointed pretty much straight ahead unless we've talked about something else. Left foot, excuse me, is either on the first red line, further forward next to the one would be like adding on half a spring. All I want you to do for the next 30 seconds or so is try to get really low in your right leg. Feel your core engage at the bottom. Feel how the intensity rises, your heart rate rises. If you try to make it less about bending and extending the knee and more about that full body kind of core engagement. Good, you got 20 seconds. Slow as you can go on the way up. Remember, your goal is to string 3, 4, or more of these lunges together without locking your knee, without picking up your right heel, without shaking it out at the top. Start to make your way all the way down to the bottom and hold it. Sit down nice and low. Push your right heel heavily down, sit back into the heel, engage your core. Bend your left knee in so that your left knee lines up under your hip, kind of like runner's lunge, totally. If you can lift your hands off the bars, it's maybe, maybe not. Yes, Jessica. Keep this left knee bent a lot. We're gonna come 1 inch down, hold it. Ooh, her inch is like 3 inches, did you see that? I like it. Shift your right knee slightly back. Good, come 1 inch up. Come 1 inch back down, hold it. Slide your left leg all the way to straight. Take an inhale, squeeze through the core and rise up. Go so slow, yeah. Once you hit the top, you're coming right back down. Dig through. Big inhales, big scout in the backyard. 8 seconds. Start to make your way back down to the bottom. We're gonna hold it down. Breathe here. Push that right heel heavily down. Let's do it again. Left knee bends all the way in. We hold it when it's in. Now from here, lift your chest a little bit. Let's come 1 inch down. Stop. The carriage doesn't move. We're not here super long. Come 1 inch up. Your left butt cheek is squeezing. Perfect in the spine, Jess. Come 1 inch down. Now hold it here and burn it. Tuck your abs in. Push your right heel. Melt your shoulders. Lighten up on your hands. Slowly as you can. Slide that left leg all the way back. Yes, and then slowly rise up. You have under 30 seconds. This is it for this right leg. Challenge yourself maybe to get your hands off things, to find your balance. Challenge yourself to get a little lower. Definitely layer those reps together. This is 15 seconds. We're gonna move to the left side of your waist. So you're on your right leg right now. We're gonna go into left side teaser. So your hands are on the bars, left foot crosses right, your toes will be pointed to the right. In 3, 2, 1. Woo, good job. Shake that one off, grab your bars, left foot crosses your right. Ideally your toes are lined up, heel toe, pointed to the right. If your back is tight, you might aim your toes a little less right and a little bit more on a diagonal. With your body weight in your arms, you're gonna inhale as the legs slide back. As you exhale, lift up through the left side of your waist. Try to keep your hips turned to the right as you lift up. Good, strong in the arms, press inwards on your bars to activate the chest. Slide your legs out on this next one and hold it there. Once your legs are all the way out, shift your shoulders slightly back, feel your arms burn a little more. Slowly 1 inch up, left side, then come 1 more inch up. So you're just kind of layering it on. 1 inch down, 1 more inch down. Feeling this burn now, arms are getting tired. 1 inch up, you're almost there. 1 more inch up, perfect control, Jess. Go 1 inch down, take it down 1 more inch, and now I really want you to fight for it. Fight for the arms, come back to full range, you only have about 12 seconds. Up and down. Now we're moving to the back of the machine from here. Make sure you have 1 yellow, unless you want 2, two's harder. You can stay at the front if you need to mod. It's side crunch in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So 1 yellow, 2 is twice as hard. Elbows to the back platform. Left knee slides up against the strap. Right knee kind of stacks on it. Your knees are turned to the right so we can target that left side waist again. Now how much you're twisted here, like where your knees point, is dependent on your hips and your spine and a whole lot of other things. So not pulling your knees in towards the platform. Instead, you're trying to contract through the left side way, shortening the spine, rounding up. We did center crunch earlier, so this is exactly like that. If your hip is burning, try to adjust what you're doing or how you are engaging. On your next one, I want you to slide it a little bit more than halfway out and hold it there. So feel that left side pick up. Try to squeeze it there a little bit more energetically. Squeeze your butt. Push into your elbows. Come 1 inch up. Squeeze it real tight. Relax your neck. And then 1 inch down. Good. 1 inch up. Squeeze it up and in. Perfect, Jess. 1 inch down. Breathe through. 1 inch up. Good. Squeeze it up and in. And then resist it that 1 inch out. This is where we finish, you guys. There's no more back to full range. So dig in and breathe through. You have 8, squeeze. Good. 5, 4, you're coming into mermaid. So your right hip is gonna drop down where your elbows are in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So facing towards your left, your right hip is on the back platform. Again, lengthen out that strap so you can bring your left foot off the floor. And then start out nice and slow. Wherever you like your arms is cool with me. Hands behind the head. I like sometimes my left arm to the sky. The more your arms are extended, the harder your heart has to pump to get oxygen to all those extremities. Slowly coming down. Let's hold it on the next one. And then doing this really, really slow. Begin to rotate your torso. Try not to get lower as you go, but turn your chest towards the floor. That doesn't mean you're gonna be facing it. Feel it there for a second. Sides of the waist hug in, shoulder blades down. And then very slowly untwist. Roll that left shoulder all the way open so you're stacked. And then slowly lift up. Try not to come all the way up. And then we'll do it again. You're gonna lower down. Notice the slow tempo, right? It's piece by piece, step by step. Hold it. Hug the ribs in. Slowly turning into it. Try not to get lower. Keep your neck long. Squeeze it there. Engage it. Slowly untwist. Let that left shoulder open. Your shoulders are stacked. And then slowly squeeze and lift up. You're almost there. Push yourself to go slower. It's everything. I promise. Good. Breathing in. Squeeze those shoulder blades a little bit. Nice. Untwist. Now hold it. Relax your jaw. Maybe come up a little higher. Maybe take the left arm to the sky. Maybe look up and then moving really slow. Little squeezes up and down. This is where you finish. In 5, we face the front. Pull the carriage in for super crunch. In 2 and 1. Awesome. So pulling the carriage in, hook your toes under the strap and start with your big, full, slow range of motion. So knees come all the way in, and then as you're leaning back, your legs extend out. Now, if your back is sensitive, you could totally use the strap on the floor instead, from what I understand. If you have really long legs, that might not be better for your back. I have no idea what it feels like to have long legs. So do what you gotta do. Maybe make the range of motion smaller, whatever you've got. Super slow. I'm gonna hold you in this full range of motion for about 20 more seconds. We do have one challenge on this one, but it's maybe not what you think. Check in with your collarbones, right? Spread the shoulder blades, lengthen out through your neck. Kind of like when you're doing your crunch, right? When your elbows were down and you were rounding in, make sure your neck is in line with this movement. And on your next one, start to take it all the way back. I don't care if your legs are straight. I don't need you to be flattened out. What I want you to feel is your abdominals here. And just hold. Melt your shoulders. Squeeze your legs tighter. And now all I want you to do is focus on squeezing your core tighter, all 360 around your spine. You're just breathing and holding for 5. Breathing and holding. Deep, full breaths all the way to your gut. In 2, we go back to full range. On 1, all the way in. Whew. All the way back out. Last 10 seconds here. We're gonna ditch the carriage. Your hands come onto your back high bars. Reverse catfish. 3, 2, 1. Now, make sure you got one yellow, unless you mean it. Facing towards the back. If you need to take it to the front, it's regular catfish. Hands up on your high bars. Heels are gonna lift all the way up in this tabletop position. So think about this like bear, right? We're gonna visit bear here shortly anyway. So spine is nice and long. Legs are gonna start to extend back. As your legs extend back, your hips don't drop, just like bear. Range of motion could be an inch, you guys. It doesn't need to be big. This looks so freaking strong, Jessica. Your arms are a little tired. We've used them a bit. Triceps are wrapping back. Press inwards on your bars. Now here at the back, you probably want to lean your shoulders slightly forward to the wrist line as you pull against those springs. I've got no holds, no challenges for you. You have 15 seconds. See if you can, like we talk about in the lunges frequently, see if you can work without taking the heat out. See if you can work in that full range of motion. Just 8 seconds. We're gonna be coming down to your elbows and your knees, using this to transition into the right side of the waist. In 4, side crunch, 3, 2, 1, good job. So bringing your elbows down. This time your right knee is up against the 11 on the strap. Left knee stacked somewhere on top of it, and then your knees are turned to the left. Inhaling as the knees slide out. Squeeze your right oblique first. So feel it, right? When you're all the way extended, squeeze it first, and then start that movement. If you feel crunchy in your hips, adjust your range of motion, adjust the angle of your knees, your hips, or adjust your activation. If you're just lifting and lowering and lifting and lowering and hoping, you gotta put a little bit more into it. Next one, I want you to slide it a little bit more than halfway out. So you feel that pull on the right side of the waist, contract up into that right oblique, push into your left elbow a lot so your shoulders feel really level. Move with your breath here. Stay in control. 1 slow inch up, yes. Inner thighs and butt are squeezing. 1 slow inch up. Big deep breaths. This is hard. Kick your own butt right now. Shoulder blades are pulling down your back towards your hips. Your little butt cheeks are squeezing together. Your inner thighs are squeezing together. If you can point your toes and get your calves to work a little harder, awesome sauce. You only have 10 seconds. This looks perfect. Remember, we are not going back to full range. This is where you burn out. We come straight into our mermaid again. In 4, your left hip meets the platform. In 3, 2, 1. Woo, good job. So right foot to the strap, left hip is down. I don't know about you, but my right oblique feels like somebody else's body. So starting nice and slow, we'll not twist it first, we're just lowering down and lifting up, kind of waking up. Think of this as like a side plank a little bit without any support, right? Your elbow's not down there for you. Right side is a lot harder for me. I really have to focus on breathing through it and what the mechanics are. On your next one, start to come down into a little hold. Soften your right knee, your right leg a little bit. Doing it slowly, start to turn your torso, your chest, towards the floor. You might not get very far. Spinal mobility. Untwist, slowly unwinding first. Let that right shoulder open all the way back. Your shoulders are stacked. And then slowly lift up. Yes, lengthen out your neck. Come back down nice and slow. We're still focusing on the slow down motion, so don't just speed through it. Hug the ribs in and then slowly begin to turn down to your left. You don't have to face the floor. Squeeze it here for a second. Engage around the spine. Untwist. Ooh, feel it. Open up the shoulders. Melt the ears, right? And then lift. One more time. Just like that. Coming down. Big old inhale. Slowly rotate to your left. Squeeze the blades. Now really slow. Untwist. We're going to hold it here. Make sure your shoulders are level. Lots of space between the ears and the shoulders. Maybe the arm goes up. And you've got little tiny squeezes up. Just 4 seconds to the front. Teaser. 2 is easier. In 2 and 1. Awesome. So all the way up to the front. Hands are on your bars. Right foot crosses your left foot. This time. Remember, if you have your feet lined up on that first red line and it feels really tight in your left hip, you've got to adjust for your body. We all have different rotation abilities in our spine on any given day. Soft elbows, strong chest. Arms are probably a little bit more taxed than they were when we were doing this on the other side because it was our very first exercise after the legs when we hit the left side. Now you've done several side crunches, You've done your reverse catfish, so it's kind of normal that this would be more difficult. Take it out on your next one and hold it all the way out there. Straight legs, you're side planking again. Squeeze your butt 1 inch up real slow. Pinch through that right side waist. Lift up 1 more inch, hold. Good. Down 1 inch, riding that wave of breath. 1 more inch out. Center abs are still tight, your neck is still long. 1 inch up, we are literally right there. 1 more inch up, good. Take it all the way out, you're back in your full range, you only have 10 seconds. Your hands are coming onto your front platform, your feet will uncross, you're in a high plank. 3, 2, and 1, perfect. So hands all the way down on your front platform. She's very fancy with her transitions, and you know I like it. Extend all the way out, and we're holding. Big inhales, big exhales. As slowly as you can. Exactly, she knew where I was going. Bending the knees for bear. The knees hover right under the hips, and then we slowly slide it back. Different interaction, different body weight distribution than when we're up on the high bars. This is a lot more intense on the chest, a lot harder on the shoulders. Triceps wrap back. This is great functional strength for your upper body while you work your abs. It's not like you're laying on your back working your abs. You're literally holding your body weight up, working your chest, getting those arms to really develop. And this is the stuff you can use. You don't need to do like 47 minutes of shoulders press. Do 47 minutes of bear and it's full body. Keep going. And then on your next one, I want you to bend your knees so that your knees hover right underneath your hips. And we're just going to hold it here. Good. Now, think about it and try to make it more intense in your abs. Imagine you're bringing the front of your pelvis closer to the bottom of your ribs. Arms are still really strong, your breath is really deep, your neck is really long. 4 seconds. In 3, we go back to motion. In 2, and 1. Good, all the way out, all the way in. This is where we finish it off. We're gonna be standing on your left leg, finishing out the other side. Floor lunge is coming. This is your last 5. You know fast transitions are everything here, taking advantage of all those seconds. In 2, and 1, awesome. So left foot steps off to the left, right toes tuck on the 10. And you'll see first things first, straighten your right leg back, lean forward a little bit maybe, and then begin to bend down into that left knee. Good. Hips stay level square. Like I talked about from my right mermaid to my left mermaid, my hips feel different on one side to the other as well. We're not totally symmetrical. So check in, maybe touch your hip bones occasionally. Headlights on a car pointed straight ahead. I like leaning a little bit forward, a little bit more forward as I get to the bottom so that I'm able to get lower. We're trying to, obviously strengthen the left leg, but this is also stretch, working deeply into your hips, stretching through the right hip flexor. It looks like a split a little bit at the bottom, right? 15 seconds. Shoulder blades move a little closer on your back, but when I squeeze my shoulder blades closer on my back, my ribs tend to flare off the front. So hug it in, and on your next one, start to come down towards the bottom. Hold it all the way down when you're there. Melt your shoulders, pull in on your core, tuck your abs, push through the left heel. Maybe your arms reach forward, maybe they reach up, maybe they reach out to the side. All of these are optional. 1 inch down. You're balancing right now, are you not? Like, this is good stuff. 1 inch up. Good. Come 1 inch down or sit as low as you can for just 5. Feel the core have to radiate. You can totally do this. 3, 2, arms wherever you like as you slowly rise up. Maybe not locking the knee out at the top, coming right back down to the bottom. So your goal, when your leg is starting to feel like this already, your goal is still to layer on these reps. Remember, 3 to 4 or more in a row without straightening your knee, without lifting your foot off the floor. Let's start to make our way all the way down. Last time on this one, 2 challenges in all the legs today. All the way down, hold it low. Same thing, maybe you can reach your arms, it's optional. It's just a challenge. You gotta be where you are on any given day. Abs so tight, sink in a little bit lower, and then come 1 inch down. Good. Come 1 inch up, come 1 inch down or lower, and now hold it here and feel all this good work you just did. Squeeze those inner thighs tighter, pull your abs together. Slowly, on an exhale, rise up. 30 seconds, full range, and then we move into pushing. Pushing after this exercise is hard, and it's also coupled with an isometric hold. So your left leg is gonna be holding perfectly still, and we just tapped into that hamstring booty complex. Last 10 seconds. You'll be changing your springs about 1 red, 1, 2, 3 yellows, minimum 1 red, maximum like 1 red and 4 yellows. In 4 seconds, runner's lunge. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, good job. So about 1 red, 2-ish yellows, left foot forward, right toes back, deep bend in your left knee. Isometric hold. Now I do keep a little bit of a lean forward in this exercise. If I try to keep my spine upright and I push my right leg back, I tend to arch my back. You can see when that happens. So leaning forward is helpful to connect the core and to keep the right hip flexor happy. Slow, steady. Your primary anchors, and we talk about anchors a lot, like pushing into your heel, pushing into your hands, pushing into the tops of your feet when you're in like a modified plank. But in the pushing exercises, when it's heavy, when we have a red spring on, the anchors are even more important. You're anchoring through your left heel, through that bend in your left knee, as the right leg drives back. Good, just a few seconds, hang in it. If you can get a little bit lower, we are working towards being parallel to the floor in that left leg, and I would much rather you lean forward and be parallel than be upright and really high in your left quad. Bring your right knee in on your next one and hold it in. Make sure the right knee is right underneath the hip, and then do the work to squeeze your right butt. Hips are leveling forward. That looks perfect. Take a big inhale breath, and then come just an inch lower in your left leg. Yes, so strong. Hold it here, feel it, but breathe through it. Don't panic about it, breathe through it. Come 1 more inch down. This is hard stuff, it's the good stuff. You're right there. 3, 2, squeeze your right butt cheek, drive that right leg back. So strong, Jessica. Once you kick it back, you're resisting it all the way in. You're working for every little inch here. It's not just the push back. It's not a break when your right leg comes in. Every little inch, breaking down these muscle fibers. I hope you realize that every single exercise in here, I literally want it to be a full body effort. Every muscle firing to push you through. Right leg drives all the way back and we hold it. Keep a soft bend in your right knee. Now, let's work the hips a little bit. Push your left anchor down, your left heel is driving. Bend your left knee more, but push your right leg further back. Yep. Right leg comes in 1 inch. So you're bending the knee, but I still want you squeezing the right butt cheek. Push the right leg back 1 inch. Now hold it there. Bend deeper into that left knee. Squeeze your right butt cheek. Drop your tailbone down. Feel your abs so strong. 3, 2, try to come back to full range. See if you can hold it low. Good. Yes, you have about 22 seconds like this. We're gonna immediately pivot and set our squat. You're gonna turn to your right, so your feet stay pretty much where they are. You're just gonna adjust for a squat. Try to get that first squat in as quickly as you can to keep these legs working. It's not a reset when we transition from one to the next. We keep layering it on. 3, 2, 1. Turn right, set your feet how you like to squat, open the carriage a little bit, and then get down low right away. Yep, I'd rather you go fast and get to the bottom and set it down there, and then rising all the way back up. Now, yeah, we talk about keeping a bend in your knees. We just had an isometric hold, so I am totally okay with you straightening your legs at the top as long as you keep your spine neutral and you get that nice big juicy butt squeeze at the top and your carriage still doesn't move. Now the only thing I'm gonna have Jessica change is I'm gonna have her start to go a little bit faster. I'm not saying fast. I don't want like power squats, go like where the carriage starts to move. I want it to feel powerful. Big push, big breath from the bottom, and then you're right back into that next one. You're coming all the way down, all the way up, breathing through, holding that carriage perfectly still, push into all 4 corners of your feet, your anchors. to drive yourself back up to straight legs. Couple more seconds. Good, let's come all the way down, hold it low. Good, nice step, Jessica. So holding it here, right? Keep your weight sitting back into your heels. Keep your chest open as slowly as you can. Drive, and I mean that. Don't just extend your leg. Drive out with that strong outer right thigh, outer right booty. You're working your outer right butt corner pockets, your butt cheeks, and then resisting on the way in. Abs are tight. You can't see, you were like perfect before. You can't really see Jessica's spine from the side, but it's that nice little natural curve in the lower back. The rib cage is always picking up, trying to lift your ribs off the floor and keep them closed together. We say knit the ribs a lot. Think about the bottom two front ribs. You don't want them spreading away from each other. You want them pulling back in towards each other. Can you sit a little bit lower at this point? We have no holds, no challenges coming. You are almost there. Digging through. Not going to keep you here long. Only one last exercise coming for that left leg from here. We've got our arm block and then you're out of here. Woo, that's a good one. Next one, don't stand up, do your best. Start to bring your right leg in. When you bring it into that squat position, you have to find your squat again. Even out your weight. Drop your hips a little lower. Pull in on the core. Without letting the carriage move, can you come 1 inch down? It's hard to keep it honest in the glutes right now. Those thighs want to take over. 1 inch up. Good, come 1 inch back down. Take a breath, sit as low as you can, and now power control. Up, down in your squat. Up, down, under 30 seconds. Big, powerful movements. We don't stop. You get lower. You try to make it shake as you rise. You try to make it shake as you drop. Keep going. Just one more coming up. We've got that elevator lunge. So if you don't have a person to change your springs for you, quickly scramble down. 1 yellow, 2 is more support, no red springs. Easiest way to get there is either take your right knee down and pop on or pop off your springs, or step to the floor by grabbing your handlebars. But be like a ninja about it. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Pivot, adjust your springs if you need to. Left foot is forward, right toes are important. If they're on the first red line, that's about good. Right foot at the front edge near the 1, a little easier. Anything further back, it's gonna make it harder. So mechanics and anchors. You're bending your left knee, your knee stays directly over your ankle. There might be a lean forward in your spine. There might be a soft bend in your right knee. Your hips should be squared to the front. Your shoulders, your chest should be squared to the front. Your neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Your anchor in this exercise is your left heel and then your whole left foot. And then I like to anchor my obliques in this exercise. You got one leg forward and one leg back. So every time you come down to the bottom, make sure you're evenly hugging from both sides of the waist in to support that right hip. Let's come all the way down and hold it. Keep your chest a little bit more lifted in this exercise. I mean, you can lean forward, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean a greater opportunity to open that right hip when your right leg is at the same plane as your left. Bend your right knee in, hold your right knee right under your hip. Push heavy into your left heel, lighten up on your hands a little bit. Think fingertips, yep. And then 1 inch down, keep that right knee bent in. 1 inch up, really good. Come 1 inch back down and now just hold it here, so strong. Breathing, light hands, long neck, strong breath. Right leg slides all the way back. And here's the hard part, how slow can you go? Let's go up for 8. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 6, ooh, ooh. 5, 4, 3, right back down, take it away. Back into that lunge. One more challenge coming, about a minute out on this left leg. We have a big transition after this exercise, and then I'll tell you how to modify it if you need to. Nice and slow. Let's come all the way down last time. Take a breath, squeeze the core. Bend your right knee in. Right knee pulls underneath your hip, your core is so tight. Lift your chest, roll the shoulders. 1 inch down, anchor through that left heel a lot. Push that heel like your life depends on it. 1 inch up. Awesome. Come 1 inch back down. Hold it. 5 seconds. Maybe you bring your hands up now and let your legs do all the work. Yes. Right leg slides all the way back and then slowly rise. Perfect. all the way up, all the way down. This is your last 22 seconds. Now from here, we're gonna be coming into push-ups. I'm gonna have you on your knees for these push-ups. You can either, I'm gonna call it off at the back. So kind of right where we started class, in that wheelbarrow position with your hands on the back platform. If you needed to modify it, you would simply turn around so that your hands are on the carriage, and you would do it at the front. It's up to you. Last 5 giant reverse modified push-ups. 1 yellow if you're headed to the back in 3, 2, 1. So ideally, hands are back here on 1 yellow, your knees are against the strap. If that's, no, you don't want to play with the springs today, you could bring your hands onto the 2 and the 4 with your knees on the front platform, just where you were, but facing the other way. Set it up, you'll lean a little bit forward so your shoulders clear the wrist line, and then begin to bend your elbows. Go really slow, that looks perfect, Jessica, and go really low. The carriage doesn't have to stay still, it's more about how you're holding your core as you come down and up. All I'm gonna say is try to go a little bit slower than you are comfortable with. So as you come down, I like a big pause at the bottom of my push-up, and there should be some engagement there. You gotta lift the navel. You probably gotta squeeze your butt cheeks again. Try to keep the tops of your feet anchored down. Yeah, if your wrists get tired, adjust how you hold your hands. You can move them wider, you can turn them out to the side more. Remember, easiest way to modify your push-ups at any point is range of motion. Lift the back of the head a little bit. Yeah, your arms should start to get fatigued about now. All the way down, super good. All the way up. Last 10 seconds. You're gonna ride to the front. I'm gonna say about 2 yellow springs. 3 will definitely be harder. In 3, we're gonna pull right up to the back. In 2 and 1. So take a ride. You're gonna want probably 2 yellows. 3 will be much harder. And then pull to the back. Take an overhand grip on your back bars. Drop your hips back. And then you're gonna start to straighten your arms. And then bend your elbows. Elbows stay shoulder distance width apart. So it's a lat pull, tricep pull, so like a pull up. Nice and slow. Now we're not gonna be here super long. We're gonna change. We're gonna take it to a single arm variation here shortly. So for now, all I want you to do for the next 10 seconds or so is find your spine, drop your hips a little lower towards your heels, keep those elbows hugging in tightly to your sides. On the next one, pull in, hold it, melt those shoulders a little bit. Bring your right hand down to the front edge of your carriage, and then just the left arm is working. Keep the right shoulder strong away from the ear. You're pulling all the way in with your left elbow. Your elbow is bending. It's your tricep and your back and your shoulder that is working. I want you to think about scrambled eggs though, and you're like, WTF are you talking about? Think of scrambled eggs. When scrambled eggs is happening, you have one leg in the strap and you're trying to stabilize everything else. This is obliques, my friends. Yes, your left arm is working independently, but you're working your core so that your shoulders don't twist, so that your hips don't twist. You probably can't hear it, but I can. Jessica is breathing deeply, fighting to keep it slow, fighting to keep that left elbow lined up right with the shoulder, not letting it wing out to the side. You've only got a couple seconds to go here. There are no challenges, no holds. Just straight on through. It's a little bit trickier when we try to isolate into one muscle rather than having both arms work together. Good. Next one is your best one. All the way out. Bring it all the way in. And then bring your right hand up. Take your time. Bring your left hand down. And then here we go. Let's slide it all the way out. And then you're pulling all the way back in. Now, your legs, your spine is getting tired of being in this position. So you gotta like engage around it again. You gotta dig in, melt that left shoulder, fire up the sides of the waist. The obliques are working hard here. Neck is long, reduce the tension from your jaw. We are almost there. Big inhales, big exhales. Now from here, I'm gonna take you up to a straight spine, and I'm gonna have both arms working together. These are your last few reps, best ones yet. So see if you can go a little slower. Try to keep the elbow lined up right underneath the shoulder, digging in. We've got chest opener coming up. So you're gonna ride to the front. You probably want at least 1 more spring, maybe 2. So 3 to 4 yellows, black cables in 3, chest opener. In 2, and 1. Great job. So ride to the front, adjust your spine. spring set if you need, 3 to 4 yellows most likely. And then scoot yourself back, stand up tall on your knees, and take us out, just chest opener. So cables are uncrossed. Tuck your tail, abs in, and then slowly start to, before you push your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades and then push back. So again, it sounds funny when I give you these little like things to think about. Remember when I was talking about runner's lunge, and every time you brought your back leg forward, I said squeeze your core and then push again. Same goes. This is so much more core than shoulders. Yes, your shoulders burning, right? Your triceps are burning because your elbows are really straight. You're feeling those shoulder blades pull together on your back, abs over everything else. What song was it? Next one, push it all the way back. Hold, squeeze it back a little further, ribs in. So keep this rib anchored, and then give me little squeeze back, hold. Little squeeze back, hold. Little squeeze back, hold, good. Little squeeze back, hold, squeeze your butt cheeks. Little squeeze back, hold, squeeze those buns. Little squeeze back, hold, squeeze those buns. Little squeeze back, one more time, shoulders away from the ears for 3. Hold it, 2, and you're back to full range. You only have 8 seconds. We turn around to face the front, 2 to go. Overhead triceps in 3. Keep your cables in 2 and 1. So you always have the option to adjust your springs if you need. Less is more and is more sometimes. So you can see Jess is sitting down on her heels. This will make it lighter. If you want to make it heavier and more core focus, more balance focus, you can stand up on your knees. If you extend your arms up and you're sitting on your heels and you're like, this is still too heavy, don't reach around and change your springs. Take the longer straps or scoot yourself back. You can scoot all the way back so that your toes are hanging off the back edge. If it's too heavy, same goes. Don't mess around with changing your springs in this position. It's a good way to fall off. It's a good way to hurt a shoulder. You can always adjust your spring tension by changing your position on the machine. Now the mechanics, your arms are extended up overhead, so your shoulders are gonna burn, your heart rate will get weirdly higher even though we're sitting down. Arms are extending up towards straight, and then we're coming down as low as you can without feeling the tension release. You wanna have those triceps working all the way through. A little surprise for you, a little bonus, no pulses. I always pulse in the triceps. We're just going straight through. All I want you to do right now on your last 20 seconds or so, can you go slower? Like way slower. Really feel every little inch of that movement, like when we're in our bear. 1 exercise to go. Last 10 seconds, you're gonna ditch the cables. You're gonna tuck your toes right underneath the strap in front of you. Doesn't matter which one, because it won't be moving. It's S crunch to finish it off. In 3, ditch your cables, 2, and 1. Awesome. So drop your cables off behind you. Tuck your toes underneath one of the straps right in front of you. Walk your sits bones a little bit forward so you don't feel like you're sitting on your bones. Your knees can be bent, extended, whatever feels more core focused to you in your hip flexors. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Arms extend away. I don't care how far you lean back, but when you lean back, you guys, make sure your chin doesn't rub onto your chest. Your head has to go with you, right? You stay in the same line from the crown to your tail, all the way through the movement. So if you start to lean back and it feels like your chin naturally drops, don't lean back that far. Your head is a part of the equation. Your head, however much it weighs, makes your core work harder when it's in alignment. So that neck coming forward is you trying to get out of the abdominal work. It's a true story. Let it shake. You only have 10 seconds. So strong. Shoulders melt. Inner thighs are active. Your knees do not need to be touching, but your inner thighs are squeezing. Hold it back on your next one. As far as you can go, but not so much that you feel it somewhere else. Now, all I want you to do, visualize like a corset wrapping around your lower back, your front abs, the sides of the waist are hugging and your butt is squeezing. Hang on to it, relax your jaw. Can you lean back a little bit further for 4. Ooh, maybe even further. 3, I've got the slowest count ever. 2, ooh, and 1, you're done. That was so much. She was like, where's she going with this? you are all done. Feel free to stretch out, maybe a pigeon stretch in order today. You can take a hamstring stretch. Feet in the straps is 1 red and 2 yellows. Or maybe it's just a child's pose. Good job. Have a good day.